Addressing Iran, it's very fucking simple, bro. We simply pull out. We just pull out. It's that easy, bro. Like the only reason we're there is because the fucking Jews want us there, right? And you're don't try to fucking have this distinction between Zionists and Jews, okay? It's a majority of them want this to happen, right? It's like don't blame all the Jews for the actions of 90% of them, right? It's like shut the fuck up. And this is the reason why they're always like not tolerated and always end up getting kicked out of wherever they reside in. Because a lot of them are truly just they don't want to integrate, they don't integrate. They view themselves as superior in their own teachings. It's everything about them. They don't ever become a part of the society that they've been let into, which is why they always get kicked out. So, yeah, I'm going to say Jews as to identify all of them. Is it all of them? No, obviously not. That's fucking ridiculous. But that's such a bullshit argument as well because it will never be all of them, right? And it's just dumb to say that. But anyways, so I pull out immediately and then just see whatever the fuck Iran wants, bro. They want to be able to enrich, done. They want their ballistic missile program, done. Right? Because a country should have the ability to defend itself. So I'm not gonna tell them, hey, don't build ballistic missiles. No, you gotta have the ability to defend yourself, right? And I know you motherfuckers are afraid, like, oh, what if they want to expand, blah blah blah. That's not, look, quite frankly, that's not my business. That's not my business. How I would handle like global problems as a emperor of America, if it doesn't affect us financially, um, and I don't care about it, we're not gonna get involved. The only other way rather that we would get involved with a conflict that I was against is I would ask the people, right? I would allow, as emperor, I would allow a vote of the men, right? Because again, women just aren't going to be able to vote. But I would ask the men of this nation, is it worth getting involved in this whatever conflict it is, right? Because remember, these are the men who are going to be sent off into conflict, who are potentially going to lose their lives. So I'm asking them, is this conflict worth risking your life for? And if they agree, even if it's against my wishes to get involved, well, if the men are willing to die for this conflict, well then, who am I to tell them no? So then we would get involved. But other than that, we're never gonna get involved with anything, right? So for example, right, let's bring up. Oh, and I'd also pull out of NATO immediately, day one. Like that's another very big action I'm doing day one is I'm just leaving NATO. NATO is such a fucking scam. They rely on us, the European countries rely on America because we're, the strongest fucking military in the world, and that's true to this day. However, with drones, yeah. Our toys are expensive, their toys aren't. So, just at a cost perspective, you know, that's why Iran is able to hold off the mighty America. Can we beat Iran? Yes, but the question isn't can we beat them. The question is it worth it? Is it worth the millions and millions and millions of dollars we're going to spend beating them on top of the countless American lives we're going to lose to actually be like it's not worth it. Iran just has to make it not worth it, right? They don't necessarily have to win. Yeah, the European countries rely on us, and they don't build up their militaries, right? I think it was even a big deal with Trump. Trump was acknowledging like, hey, you motherfuckers haven't been paying your fair share, part of this agreement, right? They were supposed to be committing a specific amount of their annual income toward their militaries, and they just weren't doing it. And I think Trump got a few of them to actually say that they will then commit towards their what they're supposed to commit, right, by the treaty or whatever the fuck. I'm pulling out of that shit. And then I guess let's also talk about Russia Ukraine again. If it's not affecting us, I don't fucking care. Technically it kind of is because Ukraine has a lot of good land, good fertile land, and a bunch of good mines. So technically it affects us, but I think for starters, I'm just gonna ignore that problem because we would have many more issues to deal here at home than worrying about fucking Ukraine. And quite frankly, I don't give a fuck about Ukraine. All right, I don't. I mean, look at fucking Zelensky, bro. He was once a stripper, became a fucking, the president of Ukraine. Absolutely not. If I become emperor, that fucking guy is not allowed into the White House. We're gonna turn him away. He's never stepping foot on American soil again. I don't want to deal with him. So yeah, it's fuck Ukraine till the day I die. Um, and look, it's because, bro, Ukraine is literally a shell for the Jews, right? If Israel gets destroyed, you know where the Jews want to go to? Ukraine. I mean, like, you should look into what's happening in Ukraine. Ignore the war for a second. Look what's happening behind the scenes. Peel back the curtain and see what the people are doing behind. The war is simply to get rid of the Ukrainian men, so that way they can be replaced by who? Jews, as well as foreigners. So it's essentially what they did to Germany and all the other countries who took part in the world wars, right? You send off your population off into a war to die, and then you flood this nation with a bunch of immigrants. That's what they've done, and that's what they're doing again to Ukraine. Um, and look, I like Russia to a degree. I like Putin, but I mean, they also have a Jew problem. And my biggest contention with Russia slash the Kremlin isn't even just their Jewish problem; it's their fucking Muslim problem. Because Russia is a very Christian country as well. You know, um, I think they're much more based in orthodoxy. I think that's their main denomination within that country. But I mean, like, how are you gonna be a predominantly Christian nation and allow all these fucking Muslims to reside in your lands? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, have we not learned from Spain? And shouts out Spain. I mean, you fuckers are gonna relearn your lesson, man. Like, why are you letting the Muslims in again? I thought we learned our lesson from history, but I guess not. So, I guess Spain's gonna have to have another Reconquista. After the Muslims take Spain over again, because apparently they didn't fucking learn their lesson the first time. But yeah, that's my biggest contention. As emperor, by the way, I would be rewriting the First Amendment in terms of the religion aspect. You'll still have freedom of speech, right? You'll still have everything else. Privileged slash protected religion in my empire in the United States of America will be Christianity. All the other religions won't be tolerated. Here's the thing: they won't be tolerated. Ergo, you can be a believer of this faith. You just can't, spread it. So there's not gonna be any mosques. There's not gonna be any what is it for the Jews? What do they use? Whatever the name of their building is. But yeah, we're gonna get rid of all the Mormons. Mormons aren't Christians. It's ridiculous, right? I'm gonna have a raid on the Scientology building, bro. I'm gonna 100, bro. I'm raiding that entire building, right? Every single worker, everybody involved is getting arrested. Celebrities, multimillionaires, everybody's getting arrested, right? And they're gonna be brought to trial for spewing heresy, because I am a Christian nationalist. And if you're asking for my denomination, I am Catholic myself. But regardless, everyone in that building is getting arrested. Everyone's gonna be brought up on charges because it's Scientology. Like, get these weirdos out of here. As well as the Satanism. I don't know if they have a church all around, like, worshiping Satan. All these motherfuckers are getting raided. All of them are getting arrested, and they're gonna be brought up on charges, right? Will I enact heresy laws? Maybe. Look, I don't want to bring them back, because usually when it comes to heresy, the only real way our forefathers have handled heresy is by just unaliving them. And look, I'm not necessarily against that, but think about how bad that could make us look, right? The little hats can use that in their media tricks, like, look, the emperor has gotten rid of free speech, and all this other nonsense. So, I don't know if I'll necessarily enact heresy laws, but there will be punishment for committing heresy. I'm still just deciding what it's going to be like. Is it going to be a simple fine? Is it going to be, like community service? What exactly is it going to indulge in? I don't know. And I know the atheists of America are going to lose their mind. What? There's going to be heresy laws. I thought we had separation of church and state. Yeah. Yeah, there is. But I'm the emperor. I don't, you know. But the separation of church and state will remain. I'm not going to have the church making laws. Absolutely not. I believe the church has been infiltrated. I mean, look at all these fucking mega churches. It's ridiculous. Oh, that's another thing. I'm rating all of these mega churches. All of these mega pastors, all of them are getting arrested. All their assets, they're being seized. They're being froze. Their bank accounts will be frozen because and I'm going to question them personally, right? I'm going to take time out of my day of fixing this nation and take time to question these mega pastors personally and be like, so when we pay tithe, when the people who go to your church pay tithe, the tithe is supposed to be maintaining the church as well as helping the community. How is buying a private jet helping the community? Right? And I'm just going to interrogate them. And if their answers aren't satisfactory, well, they won't be pastors, preaching, priests. They won't be involved with the church anymore, to put it lightly. Regardless, yeah, like, it's going to be a religious crusade. Like, we will get rid of any and all other religions. And again, if you want to be a Muslim, you can be a Muslim. Be a Muslim at your house because there will be no mosques. You want to be a Jew, like, a religious Jew, not an ethnic Jew. And by the way, yes, there are ethnic Jews who are Christians, who are Muslims, who are Hindus. But it's both, right? It's an ethnicity and it's a religion, regardless. If you want to be a religious Jew, you can be a religious Jew in your house. You want to be a Mormon? Be a Mormon in your house. You want to be a Jehovah's Witness? Be a Jehovah's Witness in your house. Oh, and by the way, you know how they knock? You know how those Jehovah's Witnesses be going around neighborhoods and knocking? I will let you do a citizen's arrest on Jehovah's Witnesses until the police get there, and then we'll arrest them, right, for heresy, right, because they're committing heresy. And again, for them, it might be a little different. I don't know. I don't know exactly how I want to implement it. Again, it's not that I'm necessarily against it. It's just that how in the past heresy was handled was essentially torture or just straight death, right? Like, they, for being heretics, they were putting people on the Catherine wheel. And if you don't know what that is, it's you would be chained up to this wheel, and they would break your limbs and leave you there in the sun until you died, right? While your limbs are broken and you're in agonizing pain for being a heretic, essentially. So, that's why I'm like, I want the heresy laws back. There needs to be a revision of the punishments for being a heretic. Back then, like, look, and again, I'm not against bringing back the Catherine wheel and, truly punishing these heretics harshly. However, a lot of people would be against it, and I need to keep the American people as unified as possible. So even if I would want to do it, I wouldn't do it because it would be a bad move in terms of PR as an emperor. And again, you can be a cruel and unfair emperor, but for how long, right? Like, your people will want you dead and they will kill you. So it's like, whenever you're a bad emperor, it's just how long will you live? If you're a good emperor, the people will love you. And of course, not everyone will love you, right? Again, I'm making it so only Christianity is acknowledged and protected religion of the United States of America, right? That would lead to the Jews and the Muslims and the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons and the Satanists and, everyone else to not like me. But who's still the majority in this nation? This nation is still majority Christian. So my actions would be for a majority of the people, right? Anyways, going back to what I was saying earlier with Iran, geez, holy, how did we I forgot how I went on that tangent. But with Iran, yeah, man, like just let them have that shit. And like I said in another video, like we're cutting off Israel. So that's our biggest contention with Iran currently. Is like the fact that we're still doing Israel's bidding, which is why we can't have a deal, right? The ceasefire that was broken, right? Iran recently just started attacking Israel again, and Israel, returned fire. So whatever hope of a peace talks. By the way, just so you're aware, if you weren't already, whenever Trump tweets or posts something that peace talks are ongoing and that we're gonna get a good deal, blah 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 on the weekend, it's so that he can keep the oil prices, the price of oil, as low as possible, because the market reacts whenever he tweets. So he's just trying to keep prices as low as he can before the market opens on Monday. So yeah, whenever he tweets that shit on the weekend, it's all bullshit. None of it's real. I mean, just look at him, bro. He's posting nonstop fucking AI videos of himself. You really taking him seriously? You're really gonna take his word that there's peace talks ongoing and that we're gonna get a good deal? No, we're not. And just addressing as well him saying that BB, you're fucking crazy. It's like, and is he gonna cut off Israel? No, so I don't care. It's a nothing burger. It's literally there's nothing special about it. He's in fact this is not even his first time swearing at BB. He's also sworn at him. I think it was during his first year as president, or of his second term. He also swore at BB. So it's like it's not new. He's done this in the past. This is nothing to be like, oh, is America finally gonna break free from Israel? No, we're not. Okay, we're just not. So it's really a nothing burger. If you're expecting something to come out of him swearing at BB, don't. It's nothing's gonna happen. I know I said don't be a doomer, but at least in that specific example, yes, nothing's gonna come of that. And so, just like a summary of basically this entire video, I'm pro Russia. At the very least, okay, I guess I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. Russia's justifications for their invasion of Ukraine were pretty fucking justified, right? Going back, it was a gentleman's agreement, right? We told Russia that NATO isn't going to expand onto their borders. Was it signed? Was it, an actual deal / an actual agreement? No, it was simply word of mouth. However, I mean, what else do you want Russia to expect from you? You've already told them you weren't going to do it, right? Like, it was our president, I forget the president at the time, but our president, America's president, literally told them, hey man, we're not going to expand. And then, like, what else is Putin supposed to believe? I mean, he was talking with someone important and they said they weren't going to expand. So he believed them when they said they weren't. Anyways, so that's part of it, and then you go back to, what is it, 2015, 2014? It was around that time frame. Ukraine had a coup, and essentially they were trying to install a pro-American Ukrainian government, which is when Russia actually first invaded. And they essentially captured a part that was majority Russian that actually wanted, to be a part of the Russian. Anyways, it's a whole mess. This is supposed to be the summary of the video. So, regardless, just understand that I'm pro-Russia. I don't like Ukraine. Again, for Iran, the Iran conflict, I pull out. I'd negotiate with good faith and good terms, right? If they want to keep their ballistic missile program, they can. If they want to enrich uranium, they can, right? I won't let them have a nuke, but they've never wanted a nuke, right? In the first place. Now they probably want one, but I wouldn't let them have a nuke. Um, but either way, even if that was like a contention between me and Iran was like allowing them to have a nuke, I would still pull out of the Strait simply because to reopen that flow of oil, because not only is America hurting from the Strait of Hormuz being closed, but it's all of our allies. Australia is getting railed. All of the European countries are getting railed. It's like everyone's suffering from this strait being closed. So, even if there was that contention with them wanting a nuke and me not wanting one, I would still pull out to alleviate the pressure, that this is causing this, because this is a global pressure. Every country is feeling the actions of the American government with us being at conflict with Iran.